Hello friends, welcome to edspread YouTube channel. And this is our web development with React Bootcamp, and today is our day 3 in this bootcamp. So far we have completed the entire HTML and CSS part in our day 1 and day 2. So in today's session we'll be dealing with JavaScript. As we complete HTML and CSS, the next part comes with the JavaScript. And today we'll learn about the syntax, the variables, arrays, strings, and all the different methods present in a JavaScript. And in tomorrow's session, we'll learn about the DOM topic present in a JavaScript. And by tomorrow, the JavaScript session will be completed, and then we can start our main theme, which is React. So, as I told, React is just a library present in a JavaScript. So, to understand React, you have to be uh, perfect in the JavaScript or pretty much good with JavaScript. That's the reason I'm taking two classes for this JavaScript. So let's start today's session. And before starting, check out the attendance link and try to fill it so that you'll be getting a certificate of participation. Yeah, and that's it for now. Let's start with our session. So, what is JavaScript? Until now, we have learned HTML, CSS, but those two aren't programming language. Now we are learning a real programming language. The HTML is just a markup language, and CSS is just a tool which is used to design websites. But JavaScript is a programming language, like you have learned the Python, Java, and say which we have taught in our previous classes. So JavaScript is also a same programming language compared to those. But we usually use JavaScript in website. We can also use Python, but for Python, we'll be using Django or some other libraries or frameworks. But for HTML and CSS, will be coming with the JavaScript because it's easily interactive, and it has some certain topics like DOM, IDs, classes, document access, and some other methods which are linked with HTML and can easily be displayed in our web page. That's the reason the JavaScript is pretty much more useful in our websites compared to other programming language. So they make the web pages interactive and they insert dynamic text into HTML. So whenever you develop two web pages, there are two type of web pages. One is static and the other one is dynamic. Whatever examples I have shown you is static because any user who tries to execute the code or who tries to execute the HTML files will get the same output, right? You have wrote some HTML piece of code. We have created list, inserted images, links, iframes, and everything. Now, even if I send you all those files, and if you try to run the program, then you will also get the same output as me. You won't see any different output. So those types of websites are called as static websites, which are pretty simple. But in our daily life, we'll be using dynamic websites a lot. A basic example is the username. Now whenever you're trying to log into a website like Flipkart, you say, or Udemy, in that we'll be having a login page where you'll be writing your username, password, or if you don't have it, you'll be signing up. Now for you, the login page might be different. I mean, the credential which you give different, or when you try to log in, after login you'll be getting, let's say, your XYZ name on the right side, your details, to all. Now this is unique for me. Suppose, let's say you're trying to log into your Gmail account, then you'll be getting a different icon and a different name. So this all are the dynamic websites which we'll be seeing mostly in our daily life. Hence, this JavaScript will also be used to insert the text present dynamically present in the HTML and react to the events. This is really useful. Now let us say we are having a button, and on clicking the button I will be making few changes in my web page. Let's say I'm having a text box, username, and I have written my username, password, and I click submit or verify. On clicking the verify button, because of the JavaScript only, the username and password is being evaluated, and if it is correct, then the user will be able to log in inside the page, or else he will not be able to log in inside the page. So that's what happening uh, in that one click, which will be uh, interactive with the JavaScript, and we learn how to do that as well. That's to the React events, and again get information about the user's computer. Using JavaScript, we can also get the various information, and also we can even input the information. We can give the feed to the computer as well. We perform calculations on user computer. Programming language, in the sense, itself, doing some validations or calculations, right? Now in programming language itself, you can write 2 plus 2 and you'll be getting an output of 5. So multiplication and addition, so this all can be done in any programming language. So as a JavaScript is a programming language, it permits those all kind of rules which basic programming language will do. And many people confuse the JavaScript as a Java, or it's an extension of Java, but it's really wrong. Java and JavaScript doesn't even have a common relation. They both are entirely different terms of programming language. If I take Python, C, in the way those two are different, in the same way Java and JavaScript is also different. These are the some main differences. I guess you might have known what is interpreted and compiled. Interpreted in the sense, while translating your code into machine level language, the code is being translated line by line. Then such type of code is known as interpreted. And the compiled, in the sense, it will compile the entire. It will translate the entire instructions into the machine code at once, not rather than line by line. Now you have learned Python, which is an interpreted language as well. Now here JavaScript is also an interpreted language, but which is not a compiled language. Java is also not entirely compiled language. At first, Java will be compiled, and a Java C file will be a class file will be formed, and then using the class file will run again using JVM, by which the instruction will be interpreted. So basically, it's uh, in Java, it undergoes compilation as well as interpretation. But JavaScript direct interpretation will it undergoes direct interpretation, more relaxed syntax and rules. Now, the person who already tried Java will be able to visualize this. In Java is extremely syntactic language. Now, you can say Python is syntax free language because you did not specify complex syntax. But for Java, even to print a function, you will be even to print a hello world, you'll be lining 4 to 5 piece of code, lines of code. The print function itself, it's like system.out.println and the print statement. So it's a very highly syntactic language, Java, but whereas JavaScript is very loose language. Less syntactic language. You can print, and also you can store the variables in an easy way. You need not explicitly mention their data types in the JavaScript. And that's what, fewer and looser data types. Now for Java, you have to mention the data types before creating them, like int a is equal to 10. If you try to write int a is equal to 10, like 10 are inside the double quotes, which means the 10 is a string. Or int a is equal to a, you have written a is not an integer, so it throws an error because we already have assigned it as integer. That's the syntax present in Java. But for JavaScript, there is no need to mention data types. You can directly write var in the sense variable. So you can write var a is equal to, and whatever you write in the RHS, the JavaScript evaluates right to left. Right to left assignment will take place, in the sense, now there is an equal to operator, and at right side there's certain text present here, and on left side certain text present here. First, JavaScript, the interpreter will check on the right side. On right side, let's say I'm having an integer. Now it will say check, okay, this is an integer, and it will assign that integer to the left side value, which means automatically the left side variable is an int data type. We are not explicitly mentioning it's int a. We are just writing it as var a. You can also write var a is equal to a, even then it's correct, or var a is equal to 10, var a is equal to 5.5. Everything is correct because the interpreter automatically changes, I mean, allocates its data type. That's about the variables. And errors are often silent. That's what we say that Java is strongly compiled language because it evaluates even small mistakes or small errors and does not give warnings directly, throws error. But whereas JavaScript tries to resolve many warnings and does not give you much error. So that's a key point. And then we have the first class functions are used in many situations. The functions or class functions we are presenting in JavaScript, mean the predefined functions, those all, and content within a web page integrates with HTML or CSS content. That's what I'm saying. JavaScript easily interacts with the HTML or CSS content present inside our web page or your file, and we can easily modify them using JavaScript. To say basically, you can modify them using IDs and classes. Hence, I have told you in CSS part that IDs and classes are really important. We'll be using them in our JavaScript in tomorrow's session. By using IDs and classes, we can easily manipulate the data present in the HTML. It's about the JavaScript. Now, how to link a JavaScript file. We have learned how to create an external CSS file in the same way, but here we'll be using a link and then relation and this all. But JavaScript will be having a certain different text. Even here, you can create two types. Now, let's first create a file. Let's say this is state 3. Let's create an index.html file. Get our boilerplate. Yeah. Now, like before itself, you can write a link here saying that link relation is equal to script, and then give the hyperreference to it and create another file which you say index.js. The extension should be JS. You'll be seeing JS. Okay. So this is a JavaScript file. But now, as we are not doing much complex calculations or complex code, we'll write in our HTML part itself. Another important thing to note is that when mentioning my CSS part, the style tags I mentioned in head part. I gave here the style for internal CSS, right? But for JavaScript, I will not be in script there over there. Now, suppose if I'm trying to give the script, uh, let me show you an example. Now, let's say I'm writing an h1 tag over here, and I'll be giving some data, and I'll write a script tag on top of this. And if I try to access this h1 tag, it throws an element because before accessing the body tag itself, I'm trying to accessing the script tag. What I'm meaning to say is that now here is the script tag. What it is, I'm using internal CSS. For internal CSS, we'll be using the style command, right? The style, and now I have created it. Here I have made, let's say, some few changes, and after making these changes, let's have made some changes on h1 tag, and I'm trying to add those changes to the script tag. Then it throws an error because when it's interpreting line to line, it checks the script tag first, and it goes for the style tag present inside the script. Before going to the style tag, this is not being evaluated, and you're trying to access the style tag inside the script, but the style isn't being found because it's not on top of script tag. It's not, it's trying to find in this place, but here there's no the style commands are not being existed. It's present after the script tag, thereby throws an error. You can see it's automatically showing an error because um, always the script tag should present after the style tag. So whatever changes we make in the style tag will be visible to the script tag as well. Hence, mostly they'll be using script tag at the end of the body tag or the end of the head tag. Anything is fine. Go for script. So whatever the commands will be writing will be present inside this JavaScript. I mean inside this script tag. So that's what script. Now source is equal file name type. This is all mandatory. I mean, sorry, not mandatory. All are optional. They are not mandatory. Even if you write this source and type, also it doesn't change. Now I have told you about the style attribute. Right, to write style over here. Now for this style, many people tend to write the type as uh, the text and the CSS file. Here we are giving it as JavaScript, but they will be giving as CSS. But we didn't write because it doesn't matter. It's just optional. So even here, that's just optional. Yeah, the script code we can also store in separate JS file, like I've showed you. You can see JS code can be placed directly in the HTML file's body, or you can place it in either the body tag or in the head tag. But just remember that after, if there's also style tag, then after style tag try to incorporate the changes for the script tag. Don't try to keep the script tag on top of the style tag. That's the only thing you have to remember. And yeah, now let's go to our JavaScript statements, which is alert. So first, instead of writing code here, I'll be showing another way of writing code. Now let us go for inspect. Go for Google. Open your any website. Just you want an inspect page to be opened, irrespective of the website you're opening. You go for sources, and here these are the JS files which I've created. I'll be removing this. If you want, you can create a new snippet. A new JS file will be created. Now this is your mini JS file. You can write whatever text, and you can come run them and see your result in this web page. If you want to see any small or minute changes, instead of writing this, saving and running, this is an easier way of doing the things. Let's first learn about the alert command. As I told you, it's not a syntactic language. Directly I can start off with my commands. Alert. Inside alert, write whatever text you want. Let's say hello world or hello users. And we have to end any statement with a semicolon. Semicolon is mandatory. Now to run this, just press command enter around here or control enter for Windows. You're seeing this nice little boxes which is displaying hello users and an option OK. So alert, what does an alert do? Let's check it out. Alert just displays this type of pop-up box. This page in the sense the web page. Now I've used Google, so it came the Google wants to say, or the Google says so this is prompt, sorry. The Google says, and I gave hello world, right? So the hello world, and it came it as OK. So I'll be pressing OK over there. Alert is just basically giving a prompt message for the user to see whatever you text right here, and if you evaluate them, then you'll be getting the Google is saying hello users. Just on pressing OK, it will vanish. Now let's try to do these changes in our HTML file. I'm using inside script tag. Copy the path. Now, an interesting thing happens when you insert it in your file. Now, this is the HTML part, so hello is being executed nice and neat, clean. But when I try to reload my page, I'm pressing Ctrl R. You can see it showing a pop up. Pressed OK. If I reload again, it shows again the same alert. So basically when you're trying to reload, it's again trying to examine the whole code. So again it will be executing the script command, and again it will be executing the alert command. So whenever alert comes, there's a pop-up will be being shown on top of your web page, and inside the text it will be displaying. Now it's hello users. Now let's say hello world, and it displays hello world. Displays hello world. It doesn't have to do with the content present inside it. That's about the alert command. And next up we are having prompt command. You can say that alert is like print in your programming language, and prompt is like scanf in your programming language. Scan in the sense that you're taking the data from the user, or you're taking input data from the user. Now let me give you an example and you'll understand. Before that, let's know a bit description about the variable. So to create a variable, you have to give var keyword and then the variable name. In my case, let's say it's an a. You can also take abc, it doesn't matter, is equal to, and you can assign here. Now let's say I'm writing 5, don't forget to put semicolon, and let me keep an alert and display this variable, which the value will be displayed. Let me keep this in comments. The 5 is being displayed. That's about the variable. Now you can see abc here is an integer, but now if I try to insert a string, strings are contained inside the quotes, right? Now you can see it's showing a string. Before it was an integer, now it's a string. So that's the use when compared to the java. It's not strongly typed language. Now we are learning about the prompt, right? Now let's see what is prompt. Let me write prompt. Yeah. Now let's say enter a number, and here it will be displaying that number. Display, just write abc. So as I've told you, it's the right to left assignment. Right to left in the sense equal to is here. This is the right part and this is the left part. The first right part will be evaluated. At first, a prompt messenger will be seen by the interpreter. Prompt, when it comes, it will be taking the data from the user. Enter a number, text will be displayed, and we'll be writing a text. That text will be then say replaced here, and it will be stored under abc variable. If you don't write this abc variable also, it's fine, it won't throw you any error, but it won't store in any variable. Then there's no use, right, on entering the data. And if the data is not being stored, then it's also equal to the data being lost. So that's the reason I'm assigning a variable to it, and I'm displaying the content present in it. You can see this is also like a pop-up message, enter a number. I'm entering 10. Can press cancel, or cancel, it will just remove the content. I'm pressing ok, and this is the alert command. This is the page, it should be opened, and you'll be typing the input over here. And type any input, any line, any amount of input, and that will be then stored in that variable. That's what happening in the prompt. The variables are declared using the var keyword, which is case sensitive. Now suppose here I'm saying abc. Now let me save this and run. Enter a number. Why the alert command is not being executed? Let's inspect. At console. So console is that where you will be finding the errors. Console in the sense for programming language, right? So whenever you write JavaScript code, you can check if there are any errors or warnings, then you will be identifying them in the console part. It's saying reference error abc is not defined. Let's go. We are trying to print abc, but where is abc? On top it's checking, there's no abc. We are having capital abc, it's case sensitive. which means capital A is different from small a in view of the JavaScript. It search for small ABC, it's not finding, hence it's showing an error. If I remove this to A, then it won't throw an error. That's the thing with case sensitive. Types are not specified, but JavaScript does have types. Now, here I'm saying I have entered a number over here. Now you might think that's just randomly evaluating, but not, because when I try to uh, add to variables or add to, no, let me say here var abc is 5 and another var, let's say abd a is equal to 6. I don't forget to put some column. I'm saying alert a plus abc. Let's say 11 is being displayed. Let's find that can be guessed over, because 6 plus 5 is 11. Now let me make these both are now integers, right? As these are being added, which means they must be in numbers can only be added. That's what 6 plus 5, if 6 and 5 are numbers, then only the compiler is able to add them. So which means a is an integer and abcn is an integer data type. Now what if I keep a double quotes over here? Now save this and run. It's showing me 65. How come the 11 has been changed to 65? I'm using the same alert and same plus operator, and we know that ABC A were int data types before, but when you hover you are saying that var a string. Before it showed var a is an int. How come it's being changed automatically? I didn't mention it as string or int. On basis of the right part, the right to left assignment, right? On basis of the right part, the left will be automatically assigned by the interpreter. Before there were no quotes, so it has been assigned as integer. Now as quotes are there, now it has been assigned as a string. And on alerting, string concatenation is taking place, which means a 6 and a 5 are added into 65. It's not addition, it's just concatenation. Before, as they were numbers, they are being added. uh, and not only the integer or string, you'll be having number, boolean, array, function, object. This all you'll be having as in terms of variables. You can explore them in mdn website or w3 schools. To know the variable type, you can use the command type of. If you write type of abc, then it will be showing here. You are able to see it as string, but for certain idealists it might not be supporting. So just write alert type of abc, then you'll be getting the variable type. Let's say it's an integer or a string. And then we have logical operators. Now let's do the same thing over here. Let's make them as integers. So now it's showing is this a number, before it was any string. Instead of plus operator, I'll keep a greater than symbol. Is a greater than abc? Yes, true. Then it'll return an boolean expression. Boolean expression is a true or false. That's it. The two comes under the boolean data type. Here is true, so it's returning true. Nothing complex. So it's saying true. And you can also try this all greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and or. You might have learned this in your different programming languages. These all are pretty easy assignments, but I'll be saying about another important assignment. Now let's say this is 6 and this is 6.0. The value is same, right? Now the data type here is number, and this might be number, or this is a float actually, and this is an integer, but the value is same, right? Now if I try to compare them, you can compare by using double equal to operator. I save and run. It's showing true. 6 is equal to 6, automatically it will true. See, show you true. So 1 equal to is assignment. Now here you're using 1 equal to, which is assignment. 2 equal to is compare. And you have another one which is 3 equals. 3 equals compares the magnitude along with the data type as well. Now if I save this and run, it's showing true because this port comes under the number as well. Suppose I'm writing here it has 6. If I'm saving and running, then showing false. Actually 6 is equal to 6, right? Then why is showing an error? Because I'm having 3 equal to. If I have double 2 equal to, then it will be showing true because the magnitude are equal, 6 and 6. When you use another equal to, it will even check the data type. Now the data type for this is string and the data type for this is number, which are not equal, and it's showing an error. That's the 3 equal to a usage. That's about the logical operator. And then you are having if else statement. In your previous programming language, you might have learned, just see the syntax because you already know what is basic if else statements. So at first you will be having if keyword and then a condition which will be evaluated. If the condition fails, then it directly goes to the else if statement. If the if condition passes, then that it'll execute the statements present inside the if condition, and that's it. It'll come out of the if block. It will not bother about the else if or the else. And if they fails, it goes for else if, and if else if fails, then it goes to else. So automatically the else will be displayed. It likes the default one. That's about the if else. The serious syntax you'll be having the flower braces. The statement should be enclosed between the flower braces. And just check this out. Condition in the sense when the condition is true, it will be evaluated, right? Suppose I can give a boolean expression pi greater than 2 is true, so if condition will be evaluated. What if I give if 5? Only I'm giving the condition as 5. I'm not giving greater than, lesser than, 2, nothing. Only I'm giving a number 5. Will be evaluated, or else if, or else what will be evaluated? Just try this out. Now coming to arrays. Arrays, it's just a data type which stores the elements contiguously. Uh, now let's create, for creating an array, we need not explicitly mention an array. Now let us say var b is equal to, and you have to give brackets. That's it. On giving this square brackets, it automatically assigns that b is an array, and you can initialize it in this way, it's correct, or you can also go it in this way. You can directly initialize and assign as well. Let's say basic, this is a string, this is an integer, this is a boolean. I'm giving different data types. If I'm trying to alert this, see, let me keep this in comments. You can see all are being executed because this array is array is another data type, right? So the data type is being printed using alert command. That's all happening over there. And you can also alert beyond as well. Nothing, because the array itself is an empty one. Now coming to indexing. If you know about programming language, you might have that any index starts with 0. The value of abc index is 0, and the 10 is 1, and the true is 2. If you write, let's say, c of 0, it's showing abc. So c of 0 is abc. Let me say c of 1. Showing 10. Good. If you write C of 2, it will show true. But let's try C of 3. Yeah, 0, 1, 2. There is no 3, right? Now let's see what will it show. It's not even showing the alert command. But in console, it's giving an up. It will show an error. Let's save this. Copy the path. It's showing undefined because it's a 3. Now the interpreter will go, it's C of 3. It goes to third position. There's nothing defined in the third position, so it's showing undefined as a cluster. That's about the arrays. You can all pre-fill, in a sense you're initializing along with assigning. Here in the first step you're only initializing, and in the last step you are accessing. Now here that's what we're doing. C of 3, in the sense it's returning a. If I want to change the C of value, this is mutable. Now let's write here, instead of C of 3, C of 1. C of 1 is 10. I'll change its value to, let's say, 5. It's showing 5 instead of 10. So you can also change the data present in the array by uh, accessing them. That's about the arrays. Now coming to strings, I have already shown you string, how to create a string. Just use double quotes, then a string will be created. You can also see not only double quotes, you can also specify it with a single quotes as well. A single quotes inside, in between this you can also write the text, even then it doesn't throw any error. Now yeah, character returns a one data string. Usually people who learn C will be seeing that will be having two different data types, char and string. But here there's no char data type. If you write a single letter, let's say A, then that A itself is a string. That's not a character. That's what we are trying to mention over there. Concatenation. Now the plus operator for string doesn't add up the values, it just concatenates. Concatenates in the sense, now let's say this is hello and my A is word. Let's give a space here and I'll say alert A, sorry, A B C plus A. So save this and run. So you can see what's happening. Hello is the ABC value and world is the A value. You're adding them, that's it. It will display one after the another. You're just concatenating, and it means you're just combining and writing it as a whole. That's what happens if you write numbers instead of them. 6. Now this is not a number, this is a string, but inside string we are giving a number. I'm writing a 5 over here and I'm not giving any space. If you save and run, it's showing 65. The same like before. Now you'll be understanding if I give you a space over here. It's showing 6 space 5. So whatever you write, it just adds up with the previous element. That's what concatenation means, combining. More about strings means these are the more details if you want to see. Like instead of explicitly my type conversion, this is an integer and I want to convert it into string, then you can just put a double quotes before it. And this concatenation, now we have done right, something plus something, it just concatenates the entire string and prints the value. Yep. Then accessing the string literals. Accessing is the same as the array. You'll be using the index value, so you can use the array concept here as well for the strings. These are again additional methods, you can just check them out. After that we are having an important topic known as split and join. Before this, let's see another topic, which is slice operator. I didn't mention, I guess. Slice operator is used to create substrings. Substrings are, I guess you might have known what I mean by substring. Let me write a whole lot of command. Hello. I wrote hello and welcome to edspread. Now, if I want to slice this string, slice in the sense I want to cut a small part and store it in another variable or create a substring, I'll be writing var d is equal to abc. Let's create this variable and it's becoming a hectic. It's abc dot slice and just give the indexes. You know, this index starts from 0 and comma up to where you want uh, up to where you want to slice it. Let's say I want the hello only to be sliced. Now count here 0 1 2 3 4 and don't write 4 because this 4 will be excluded, and the 0 is included but 4 will be excluded. The first argument will be included and the second argument will be excluded, so write 5. Now save this and in alert let's give a d. Showing only hello. So that's what slicing means. Instead of 0, suppose you give here, let's say a 6 and a 15. So these are the up to 15 we are getting, which means O is 14. Up to 14 we'll be getting. That's the slice operator, which is used for substrings. And then we got split and join. Let's do the same thing. Now we are having hello and welcome to edspread. Now I want each word present in the hello. You will be getting these type of questions. You will be given a line and you will be saying asked return the number of words or return the different words or return the words present in the line. Then what you'll be doing is let's create under let's say ab is equal to bc dot split and just give a parameter. For the parameter, just it's a general view that what is a common thing between two words? A space. You can identify this is a word when there's a space between them. So just give the space. Whatever you mention inside this double quote will act as a delimiter. Delimiter in the sense, now suppose I wrote E, then wherever E is there, then it'll what to say, it will remove that E and create separate word. Now H will be a separate word, L L O up to here there will be another separate word, right? Up to L L O and till it encounter another E. This is one word and again this is another word. Then this is another word. So this would be the delimiter. Now here I'm giving just a space, right? So now I'll be printing AB. That's it. These are the words. Basically, this will be stored in list format. Now, if I try to write AB of 0, you can see only hello is coming. If I write AB of 1, then I'll be getting and. That's what happening. It will be stored in list format. Let's say in list format, it is being stored. Now, the next one, you're also having reverse. Reverse is the method present in the array. It reverses the content present inside the array. Now coming to join operator. Join is quite opposite to the split. Now I have been given words. Let us say these words only I'm giving hello and welcome to edspread. Now I want to combine them and recreate the BC variable. Let me write var n is equal to ab dot join. So how the letters has to be joined? Let's give the same parameter as the space. Now when you display it, you'll be getting, now see, I'm displaying n variable, which means the join operator, and you'll be getting this output itself. Say hello and welcome to edspread. Now suppose I gave the join operator some exclamatory mark or some iterate symbol. You can say hello, iterate, and iterate, welcome. Hello is a word and you're joining it with the iterate. That's the reason wherever you are having words there, you'll be joining it with iterate. And yeah, that's about the session. Let's do a small exercise on this, on strings basically. Now people who are using Twitter, they might know that they cannot type a large sentences. There will be a certain restriction. I don't correctly remember the number of words. Let us create a word. Now let us say I have to create a duplicate a Twitter chat box such that only 52 letters are allowed. Usually it's not 52, more than that, I guess. But for me, I want only 52 letters. If I get more, suppose I'm writing a sentence with 54 letters, then only 52 letters has to be displayed. Let's try to recreate this. And obviously the input has to be taken from user. So first, for as it has to be taken from the user, you have to use the prompt command. If you want, just try this out. I'm showing the solution. Pause the video and try this out. Let's say enter your message with less than how many, 52 characters. Now whatever text will be right will be saved inside the a variable until now it's fine. But even if I write 54 letter sentence, even the 54 letter is being stored in a. So from the 54 I have to access only 52. How can I use that? Using string operator, slice operator. So go for slice operator. Let's say create a new variable. Let's say var final. Let's say final is equal to a dot slice, and it has to start from 0, right? The 0th element should also be included. 0 comma, you have to now try 52 because I'll be going till 53, as 53 will be excluded. You have to write 52 because 52 is excluded and you'll be having 0 to 51 characters. 0 to 51 in the sense the length is 52, so you'll be having 52 only. Now display this command. Use final keyword. So to get a 52 word, let's go for alarm. So, I don't know any sentence with 52 words, Let's reload this. Paste this. I'm sure that this is greater than 52. Press OK, and only this much amount of text is printed. This is R52 letters. You can count them and even count the white spaces as well. And you will get exactly 52, not more than the length. The length will be exactly 52, not more than that. And whatever I wrote after 52 is being removed. I mean, it's being removed, and only the 52 letter is being stored inside the final keyword and is being alerted. That's about the JavaScript today, which we learned, and tomorrow on based upon this we'll be doing another JavaScript part, which is DOM session. We'll be learning about the document object, how to access the elements using the document part. And yes guys, that's it for today. I'll just give a brief introduction what to learn. We just saw what is JavaScript, difference between JavaScript and Java, and how to create a JavaScript file and how to link it to our HTML file. And the main two statements which we learn is alert and prompt. And then we took a glance about data types and how they differ from various programming language, the variables and data types. Then the logical operator, the important one is triple equal to, and after that we saw if else for, and you can also see for loop, while loop, as they are pretty simple. I didn't included them here. We will be having a switch case to solve. And then we saw about arrays. After arrays we got the RSL string and different string methods, like um, the slicing, the length, and also you'll be having string dot length. You can write the final dot length and you'll be getting the length of the final as well. So now you just try to implement this one. I'm giving you a clue. Now I have shown you before. I have entered a long paragraph, and it gave only 52 letters in my alert command. Now instead of counting each word, uh, go create final dot length. Don't put any parenthesis, just final dot length and alert that value. Then you'll be getting 52 as your output. If you get 52, then your code is correct. Just try this out and you will be also able to learn the length command present in string. Just explore more methods present in string and arrays. That's it about string and arrays. Just split and join. I told you at the last. And yes, that's it for today, guys. By this, we completed of day 3 as well. And yeah, to access or to view this PPT and any other resources, join our WhatsApp groups and also Telegram groups. And uh, just fill the attendance form to get a certification. And that's it for today, guys. Meet you tomorrow. Thank you.